Spain did not become powerful through innovation or industry. It became rich because unimaginable amounts of silver flowed into its empire. From the mines of the New World, silver flooded Spain's treasury, and for a moment, it looked like unlimited wealth meant unlimited power. From the mines of the New World, silver flooded Spain's treasury. Ship after ship arrived in Europe, loaded with metal ripped from the earth. For a moment, Spain looked unstoppable. Its coffers were full. Its enemies were paid off. Its empire expanded across continents. Silver did not make Spain richer. It made everything more expensive. As silver flooded the economy, prices began to rise. Bread cost more. Rent cost more. Wages did not. This was inflation, and Spain was one of the first empires in history to experience it. Spain was drowning in silver, but something strange began to happen. The more silver arrived, the less Spain produced. Why build factories when treasure ships brought instant wealth? Why innovate when money seemed endless? Spain consumed, others produced. And slowly the engine of the empire began to rot from within. Spain stopped building. Its workshops went silent. Its craftsmen disappeared. Why work when silver could buy everything? Spain imported what it once produced. Weapons, clothes, tools. Silver left the country as fast as it arrived, and Spain became rich in money, but poor in strength. While Spain spent its silver, other nations were building. In the north, workshops multiplied, skills improved, tools evolved, production accelerated. Spain imported what it could no longer make. Silver flowed out, but nothing replaced it. Wealth was leaving. Power was shifting. Spain did not invest its silver. It spent it. Foreign merchants took Spanish silver and used it to build ships, factories, and banks. Spain paid. Others grew stronger. Silver left the empire and never came back. While Spain was drowning in silver, others were learning how to control money. Banks were rising across Europe, not by mining silver, but by lending it. They financed wars, they financed kings, they financed empires. Money was no longer just metal, it was power, multiplied by debt. Silver flooded Europe. Prices began to rise, not slowly, violently. What once bought a meal now bought nothing. Spain blamed merchants. Spain blamed foreigners. But the truth was simple. When money loses meaning, everything becomes expensive. This was inflation, and Spain had unleashed it on itself. But inflation does not hurt kings first. It hurts ordinary people. Workers were paid the same, but could buy less every day. Families struggled. Savings vanished. Bread became a luxury. Meat became a dream. The wealth of silver never reached the streets. It stayed in palaces, while the people grew poorer. Spain tried to fix the problem, not by producing more, not by innovating, but by borrowing. Loans replaced industry, debt replaced work. Gold no longer built the future. It only delayed the collapse, and every delay made the fall more brutal. Spain tried to control the chaos. New taxes, new laws, more control. But every solution made the problem worse. Trade slowed, trust collapsed, money was everywhere, value was nowhere, and the empire began to choke on its own wealth. While Spain spent its silver, others were learning. The Dutch invested. The English built industry. They did not chase treasure. They built systems. Spain imported everything. Others exported power, and quietly, the balance of the world began to shift. Spain tried to fix the problem. More taxes, more controls, more borrowing. But every solution made the damage deeper. Productive nations adapted. Spain resisted change. Silver kept coming. Value kept falling. The empire was rich on paper, but poor in reality. Spain no longer built. Its workshops fell silent. Its craftsmen disappeared. Silver replaced skill. Imports replaced labor. Spain paid others to grow rich. While its own economy slowly bled out, the empire still looked powerful. But inside, it was already hollow. Spain borrowed to survive. From Italian bankers, from Dutch financiers, silver left Spain almost as fast as it arrived. Interest piled on interest. Debt became permanent. Wars were still fought. Armies were still paid. But the money was no longer Spain's. The empire was standing. But it was standing on borrowed time. Spain still had armies, but paying them became harder and harder. Silver was everywhere, yet real wealth was gone. Soldiers waited. Treasuries emptied. Wars were fought on credit, not strength, and debt became Spain's new weapon, a weapon that slowly turned against its owner. Spain began to borrow, from bankers, from rivals, from anyone who would lend. Interest grew faster than empires. Each shipment of silver arrived already spent. Each victory came with a bill. Spain was rich on paper, but bankrupt in reality. The empire survived by borrowing from its future. Eventually, the illusion collapsed. Spain could no longer hide the truth. Debts piled higher than silver ever did. Banks panicked. Credit vanished. The empire defaulted, not once, but again and again. What gold had built, silver had destroyed. Spain had conquered the world, but it could not conquer economics. Spain confused money with wealth. It gained treasure, but lost power, and learned too late that gold and silver mean nothing when their value collapses. History does not repeat itself, but it always warns. If you want to understand how money builds empires and how it destroys them, subscribe to Golden Collapse, like this video if history made you think, and leave a comment below. Which empire should we expose next?